this.
Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, far out. What a finish. I mean, we only just wrapped up 5 minutes ago, but fuck, I didn't even know what to say. That was, I mean, if you didn't catch it, I'm just gonna go straight to it. Leon Edwards is the real life Rocky. For God's sake, the man's Rocky. That was the greatest comeback in a title fight I've ever
It's
seen.
coming home.
My
it's
God,
coming home.
I mean, Jesus Christ! I mean, if that fight goes another minute, Usman wins that decision pretty handily. It's kind of like a similar situation that we had with Yuri and Glover almost, where Glover was looking to sort of finish that up by a decision. Then Glover just, sorry, other way around. I'm still can't even really talk. That was a fucking
I see what you're saying. That fight was a little bit closer, but yeah, like, I see what you're saying in terms of it was like down to the actually a good. It's hard to think of a fight where someone wins the first round, loses the second, the third, and the fourth, most of the fifth, and then it was a crazy head kick.
Man, I'm telling you, the craziest knockout in a title fight, a comeback knockout in a title fight history. That was
bigger than the Ronda head kick. Bigger than the Ronda head kick. There was more on the line with this.
Oh, bigger, because this what was happening. Like, there was not much going on. Edwards was sort of, it looked like he'd almost not assigned to losing, but like it didn't look like he had enough to sort of challenge Usman at the end. And Usman was just doing his things, kind of thought maybe a minute to go. And then that throws that jab, follows it up with the high head kick. Wow, I cannot believe we have a new undisputed welterweight champion. Now, I do think they do a number 3, though.
Yeah, of course. They're 1-1 on each other. And I think the third fight will be even better because there'll be less of a gap. But, I mean, the head kick's amazing, but I want to bring attention to what he did. I think what he did in the first round was brilliant. First, I know actually people are saying this is the first takedown on Usman. If we're being honest, Colby at least got, I believe, 1 or 2.
Yeah,
they just weren't counting.
First official
takedown. And I mean, even then took his back, had really good back control. The back triangle was just a little bit high up on the back. But yeah, I mean, look, amazing performance by Leon Edwards. As you say, I definitely think they're going to run it back into the third one. It makes the most sense. And then, there's a bit of a logjam of contenders because I don't think Khamzat should get the title fight after beating Nate. I think maybe another one after that. Now that this has happened, but yeah, crazy. So look, we'll move on to the co-main, which we both said Paulo was going to win when we talked with Eric Nixick, which dropped this morning. So if you guys wanted our predictions before the fight went down, definitely check that out. But I think, and I was saying to you in chat, I think this was best case scenario for Luke other than a win. He showed he's got a chin. Yes, he looked older. He wasn't making the same sort of decisions on the ground that he maybe would have made, but he showed he's got a chin and he showed he's still got that heart of a top tier martial artist and a warrior. So I wish him all the best in retirement. I'm happy he's retiring. I really am. I think this is a good fight to go out on. But I was really impressed by that fight. What were your thoughts on that?
It was I saw people saying it was an unusual, weird fight, and it kind of was. Like, there was so many back and forths where Luke kind of looked just like the fight kind of should be stopped because he didn't look like he could literally physically continue because of his cardio and whatnot. But he'd come back and clip Paulo with a jab or throw those kicks to the stomach, and he caught him a few times. He got 4 in a row on Costa when he was
the left liver kick.
And it was a great fight. I don't think if you're Paulo Costa, I don't know if your stock rises after that, because if you're the guy that's the eraser, he had chances there where I think he could have put it on Luke where maybe he didn't. This is just my opinion. Luke, that's not taking anything away from Luke. Luke was tough as they come, but like after seeing that performance, it doesn't make me any more confident that Paulo's going to be the world champion one day.
I think he could, but I agree with you that he was kind of expected to really flatline Luke Rockhold. He was expected to, but at the end of the day, I think that was probably the best fight on the card. Even though it
Yeah,
was a bit of a weird one, I think it was the best fight on the card. And I'm just happy to see Luke Rockhold, right off into the sunset, not getting knocked out in his last fight. I think that would have been sad if we saw him
yeah,
get flatlined. But so look, we'll just move on because the rest of the card was a little bit hit or miss. But Jose Aldo loses to Mahabdavalishvili via decision. Bit of a flat fight. Look, if we're being honest, no disrespect to either of them, it was a bit of a boring fight. I felt Aldo looked a little bit flat to me.
yeah.
And I
Towards the
think
third, he did especially, but yeah,
Marab could have done a lot more in terms of just his activity and his work rate. Again, you're Marab, you're in front of Jose Aldo, a legend that you watched when you grew up. You're in front of one of the best to ever do it. But not the greatest of fight. But look, if you're Aldo, I mean, you didn't get dominated. I don't mind Aldo having a few more fights. I think this would be a good time to do Dominic Cruz and Jose Aldo.
yeah,
I think this is a good time to do that. Pull the trigger. They're both coming off a loss. They're both, whilst I would say Aldo's in much better condition than Dominic at this point, they're both older. I think it's time to pull that trigger on the fight because it's now or
yeah,
never.
yeah.
And then we had the women's bantamweight fight, Lucy Pudilova versus Yan Wu. Look, a fairly dominant display on the ground by Lucy Pudilova. Again, it wasn't the best fight. This felt very oddly placed on the card.
Very oddly placed. Like almost should have been on the prelims.
Yeah, and just because of some of the names that you had on the prelims, like Leonardo Santos, Jared Gordon, Marcin
Yeah,
Tybura, and Alexander Romanov. But look, it was an all right fight. It just felt maybe a little bit flat. This card was kind of up and down for me. But then we'll go to our fellow Aussie Tyson Pedro getting the knockout in essentially a minute of the first round. I mean, we kind of expected this was going to happen. I think everyone did. Harry Hunsucker was the biggest underdog coming into this card. We talked about this in chat. I appreciate the fact that the UFC gave him 2 warm-up fights. I don't think they should have just fed him to like Magomed Ankalaev and Yuri or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
But now it's time. Give him a
Yeah, give
proper
him a
opponent.
ranked opponent. It's time for a ranked opponent. I think you can give him someone like inside the top 15, maybe top from 10 to 15, anywhere between there. You got to give him the same skill level. It's like it's proved. Hey, he's going to be in the top 15. Stop giving him guys that can't compete with him. Give guys that can put him to a fucking 3-round war, 3-round test, make him test his skills. Then we see how good Tyson Pedro is. We all know he's very, very good, and he should have done exactly that to Harry Hunsucker. He should have done exactly what he did.
Yeah.
But he's 30, I think. And if he's going to be a champion, you want to see him progress. And now's the time where, okay, he's come back off the injury, the 4-year layoff, he's back, had 2 fights. Now we give him someone a bit better. That's how I think it should work. But yeah,
sure.
still impressive performance. Overall, a decent card. For me, I feel like it was better than the last card.
The last pay-per-view or the last fight night?
Pay-per-view. Sorry, to be specific, better than last pay-per-view only because of the co-main event and the main event finishing in the fashion that it did.
Yeah,
I don't think that KO will be remembered. That'll be a thing that everyone turns back in time and looks at. This will be an Anderson Silva losing to Chris Weidman. This will be one of those moments. It is one of the most shocking KOs I've ever seen. And
very Anderson Silva Chael-esque, but obviously that wasn't a knockout; it was triangle, but very similar to that.
Yeah, like just wow. Like, I mean, if you're not a fan of this sport, how can you not be?
How can you
when
not
you
be?
see something like that, and you've got 5 minutes to go, and Usman's up on all 3 scorecards, 1 minute to go, and he just lands a fucking kick that sends Usman to the shadow realm. And we've never seen Usman like that ever. He's never been. He's been clipped and been wobbled by guys like Gilbert Burns and maybe Jorge, time or two, and Colby, but nothing like that. That was a devastating knockout, absolutely devastating. And I 100% agree that next it'll obviously be Usman versus Leon Edwards 3, which is only a good thing for the division. It's only a good thing because there's no more stagnant. There's not like, he's got 2 wins over Leon. Now we're 1-1 going into a trilogy. Now it makes it more
competitive trilogy rather than
exactly
bringing it back. Yeah,
exactly. And now a guy like Hamzat. Now I'm a Hamzat fan. Now I think it's the time where they go, okay, now we can do Hamzat versus Colby because the winner of that can then, I mean, maybe not the winner, but if Hamzat can get past that, then you
Yeah.
give Hamzat the winner of that, that eventual Edwards and Usman rematch. But what were your thoughts overall? Like, would you rate that out of 10? Like we usually
I'd
do.
give the card probably a 6.5, to be honest. It felt
I'm at 6.5, maybe a 7 because of the knockout.
It felt a little bit flat and up and down to me, but maybe that's just me, maybe that's just me watching it on a Sunday arvo down here and down under. But look, before we wrap up, one last thing we do want to mention is that a friend of the podcast obviously opened the card and got a KO victory in round 1, Victor Altamirano. So congratulations to him, and hopefully we can have a chat to him soon about that victory and see what's next for him. But yep, overall, all right card. Really looking forward to the next one. And yeah, it's coming home, and that head kick is going to be remembered forever. And if you guys want to see what we thought of the card before it went down, check out our interview with Eric Nixick, which dropped early this morning. And otherwise, we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Last one I'll say from you is, oh, Rocky!
Yeah. See you later, guys.
Peace.